the morning that changed everything. I used to think that successful people were simply born different. They seemed more confident, more talented, and more motivated than everyone else. When I was in high school, I often compared myself to others. Some students were good at sports, while others were excellent at studying. I felt average in almost every way. Because of that, I stopped trying many new things. I believed that effort would not change anything. However, one small experience completely changed my thinking. One rainy morning, I arrived at school much earlier than usual. The hallways were quiet, and most classrooms were still empty. As I walked past the gym, I heard the sound of basketballs bouncing. I looked inside and saw one of the best players on the school team. He was practicing completely alone. His uniform was already wet with sweat. I checked the clock and realized it was only 6:30 in the morning. I was shocked. At school, everyone admired him for his natural talent. People often said that he was gifted. But at that moment, I finally understood something important. Talent alone was not the reason for his success. He had been working hard long before anyone else arrived. That image stayed in my mind for a long time. After that day, I decided to change my habits little by little. I started reviewing English vocabulary for just 10 minutes every night. At first, it felt boring and difficult. Sometimes I wanted to quit after only a few days. However, I continued anyway. A few weeks later, I noticed something surprising. English classes became easier to understand. I could read longer passages without using a dictionary all the time. My test scores slowly improved as well. More importantly, I began to feel confident. For the first time, I realized that small actions could create big changes. This lesson influenced many parts of my life. When I wanted to become healthier, I started taking short walks every day. When I wanted to save money, I stopped buying unnecessary snacks. When I wanted better relationships, I practiced listening more carefully. None of these actions were dramatic. They were small and simple. Still, they gradually changed my daily life. Many people want immediate results. They study hard for 2 days and expect perfect English. They exercise for 1 week and expect a completely different body. When quick results do not appear, they become disappointed. Then they give up. However, real growth is usually much slower than people expect. A tree does not become tall overnight. It grows little by little every single day. Human beings are similar. Our habits shape our future. If we repeat positive actions consistently, our lives slowly improve. Of course, nobody is perfect. There are days when motivation disappears completely. There are moments when failure feels painful and embarrassing. I still experience those feelings sometimes. But now I understand something important. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every mistake teaches us something valuable. Every difficult experience can become useful in the future. That is why we should not fear failure too much. Instead, we should focus on continuing forward. Even one small step matters. Some people change their lives through one big opportunity. However, most people change through repeated small efforts. That process may look slow from the outside. Still, powerful changes are happening little by little. If you are trying to improve your English now, do not worry about being perfect. Focus on consistency instead. Reading 1 page every day is better than studying for 5 hours once a month. Little by little, difficult sentences will become familiar. Words that once seemed impossible will become easy to understand. One day, you may suddenly realize how much you have improved. That realization is an amazing feeling. The future is not created in a single dramatic moment. It is created through ordinary actions repeated many times. So do not underestimate today's small effort. It may quietly change your future someday. And perhaps years from now, you will look back proudly at the person you became. Because everything started with one small step.